We got to talk about another win here, right? We're going to talk about what we liked and what we didn't like here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show. Thank y'all for pulling up. You got your boy Coop here, and I am your host, Jay. Thanks for coming up on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to. While you're here, please wipe your feet, like, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Y'all don't think we deserve it? Give us 5 anyway, and gift it. So on today's episode, we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. We're going to lead into here with what we liked about this win against Tulane and also the things that we didn't like. Then we'll divulge into what's next, especially as we look at these positions and the team gets healthy. And then we'll, wrap up with some of your thoughts, and we'll also talk through some of our players of the game. So all the good stuff just for every single one of y'all. Coop, happy Sunday, man. How you doing today?
Happy Sunday, my friends. It's time. It's SEC time. This is why we wanted to make the L switcheroo, and now we get it.
Dude, we're about to play in a true SEC game, man, and I'm pretty excited, man. Tennessee's coming to town. We've got game day. We'll dive deeper into our preview on that later this week because there's a lot of things and misconceptions people have. But I want to talk about this first. I want to open with this, my opening statement. So I know a lot of you've been tuning in. We got over 16,000 subs. We appreciate that. You've been riding with me for over 4 years, me and Coop for the last 2. So it's been awesome having you all join us. I do want to make sure that I clarify some things for you all. Coop and I will both be pretty, direct with everything that we say. I was listening to Oklahoma Breakdown earlier, and man, they were direct. And there's a difference between the way they do things and we do things. They're at practices, they talk to players, they see all of this stuff. We're fans like you all. Biggest thing that I want y'all to remember here is, as pissed and mad as we can both be about the team, we're still going to find that encouraging piece to keep you going. If you ain't got hope as a sports fan, what's the point of being a fan of your team? What's the point of even watching your team, right? So there's got to be some sort of hope there, right? Even the 6 and 7 season, boy, that was a struggle for your boy, but I still found positives in there when I could. So the goal here is to always see what we can see on the opposite side. We're going to call out the spade. That's the spade. But we also want to make sure that you all have some positive thoughts. So we're going to start off with this, though. What we liked in this game. Coop, I'm going to be honest. There's a lot more in this game that I liked than I thought I would. I liked how the offensive line play got a little better as the game progressed, especially when we switched the lineup. We brought Howland in to start, Sexton at left guard. Then we finally got the lineup we wanted to see. We saw Zayda at left guard, Sexton at the left tackle, Tarquin at the right, Fabichi Wewu at the right guard, and then Bates, even though he's a little banged up, has still been trucking it out toughly. Yeah. Y'all heard me right. We got 3 centers that are in some way, shape, or form injured or hurting in some capacity. I'm happy to see that we were able to get over some of that. So big positive for me is the growth in offensive line. Coop, give me one of your big positives so far, and we'll just go back and forth.
Listen, it's other names popping up on defense. Samuel Masigo gets the start with Kendall Dolby. Our boy he was nursing something up. I think he could have gone if this was a need. But Samuel got in there. He got some really, really good early pressures. Really just he brought his A game. And, again, let's all get ready. It shows you some of that competitive depth that you got on the defensive side of the ball. So that was terrific to see that. I saw the defensive ends get some game time and get some opportunity with them trying to put the ball out there. They were trying to go deep at the end of the game, and let's just be honest, our Mason Thomas balled out. He had one of the best, 3 or 4 minute segments by a defender that you've seen in quite a long time, and just love that. Caden Woolard, brother, was like Caden Woolard. If you got awards for being 1 or 2 inches away from sacks and big plays, that guy would have had himself several awards, because he was right there every single time that he was in. He was so close, and I felt so bad for him. Because just want to see those guys get home. Those edges,
Right.
They've been at that spot where it's just set the edge, set the edge, set the edge, set the edge, and they finally got to get themselves a little up the field play. And you'll see it. You'll see more and more here coming soon, because nobody wants to get too deep in the backfield, and set them up for 8 to 10 losses.
Yeah, that's a good plus. Yeah, the edge is looking good. Samuel Seago out there balling out, getting the experience he need. Now, I noticed when he was out there, he had some solid plays. We need that, right? The good thing is that we're getting healthy back there, right? I'm expecting Dolby to potentially play next week. Gabe mentioned he saw him walking around, and he looked like he was good. So there's probably a reason why they pulled him for this game. I mean, we've got the big one this coming weekend. So certain players, if you don't really need them, you get other guys' experience, because you need tape for guys to recognize when they're in the right spot and when they're not. I'll go back to the offense side for something that was a plus for me. Is I liked seeing Tatum when he gets the ball on the field. The concern I have with Tatum is, and I'll talk about that more in the not like, is when he's in the game, he's getting the ball at this point right now. Take that for what you believe it is. Just understand when Tatum's in the game, that means he's getting the ball. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad. But I did like how Barnes was actually trying to hit some cuts, man. He had some one cut and run that was pretty good. We just got to get a little bit. I think Latrell's probably got to get more creative with some of the run sets. But I'm not complaining. I think if anything, he needs to break off faster whenever he's in the backfield blocking and his guy doesn't come, so that he can catch those passes. And he also needs to catch the pass on the side, on the flat, whenever you're open, right? But it was good. You saw Jackson Arnold get more comfortable, Coop. I like that. I like that he is starting to get more comfortable with that. I like that he's starting to go ahead and run. He is a dual threat. He was the number one. ESPN had him listed as the number one dual threat leaving high school. Probably you need to see more of that dual threatness now, right? I mean, it's kind of the point. If you're a dual threat and you're rated the number one dual threat, they even showed it on the screen during the game. I'm just like, yeah, he was the number one dual threat. Can we dual threat then? Give me some more of that dual threat.
Yeah.
What else you like?
Again, I like having Jackson Arnold. When people are, when the, Dusty did a good job calling the game. I think he was pretty fair. But he's, what was it? They said, the other guy was talking about how, he's silencing his haters today. And you saw Jackson Arnold in a lot of situations be more decisive. And so Jackson Arnold is having to absolutely just take the team and go. And, this is one where we thought, at the beginning of the season, like, you're not going, if you're Jackson Arnold, you don't have to do that. Well, now through the quarterback run game, he got out and he got himself some. And we saw enough success running the ball that when he was pulling it, he was cruising. That he had that one right before halftime. He had that nice, 40 some odd yard, run. And so, it is an absolutely, a sight for sore eyes to see him make those good decisions. So I think that he was pulling the ball the right way and doing good stuff with that. So I'm going to say that because this is still a guy on his fourth start. And what's the, how many, I don't know. I don't even know the mathematical equation of how many different types of, offensive line, setups he's had in front of him. But every single time he goes out there, it's like he's playing pickup ball and just finding 5 fatties to put out in front of him.
Right.
I'm going to also say this is, I love Woody Washington. Woody Washington is continuing to make himself, give himself a lot more opportunity, bouncing all over the place. He's all over the field. He's really, really balling out, and I absolutely am here for it. I'm very, very excited. everybody is very, very, very excited to see him out there because I made a claim that maybe he doesn't have a spot on this defense, and so I'm very, very excited to see that. I mean, I think that he's been out there. He also got spelled a couple of times. You saw Eli Bowen out there on a couple plays.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see more and more guys continue to come out when it matters because it's not. It's not like we're throwing out guys when you're up 71-0 or whatever, and you've got no actual competition going on. You're seeing guys come out and get some really good snaps. So,
wide receiver room, Deion Burks, 7 catches, 80 yards. Burks, of course, continuously leading the way. Teams are keying in on him, and he's still finding ways to get catches. Bauer Sharp did a good job of finding ways to get over across the middle. Got his 28 yards, 4 catches. That is something I'm very happy to see. That's key in the development, right? We know the wide receiver room is young and inexperienced right now. The thing that we leaned on going into the season, we'd have an experienced wide receiver room going in. But you ain't got an experienced wide receiver room now. You got 4 people hurt. So you've gotta focus on getting those guys the experience you need. I love that Zion Kearney catch. I'm glad Zion Ragens got his catch. I'm glad Kearney got one, and he's starting to get adjusted to the speed at this level. That's what we need more of. And honestly, that got me at a high level of excited. So, yeah, we need more of that.
You need to see the size. I mean, you've seen how hard it is. I mean, I'll say this, even with the guys out there at receiver, when you're rolling out Brennan Thompson, Deion Burks, and Deion's different because Deion can bench 400 pounds.
Roughly, yeah.
And then throwing Reagan's out there, like when you have those guys out there, they did a very good job blocking out on the edge, most of the time. So I'm pretty excited to see. I'm pretty excited to see guys like Kieran get out there. Guys, Petaway had some snaps, and so man, if you at this point. I want to see who's available for the game because I think that over and all, like you play with the guys that you have, you play in the conditions that you have, and that's I've just got back from my daughter's soccer team, took their first L of the year, and so they were complaining that it was hot. And I was like, it ain't cooler on the other side of the field. Like it's hot, like it's just hot. So you got to get out there and do it. So, but I mean, the goal is to end up in the left side of that little dash mark on the record. And we're 3-0. And so, there have been times where, what was it? The Caleb Williams switch year to where we were 7-0. Nobody was happy with absolutely anything. We have a squad on one side of the ball that can carry you, and the special teams looked a lot better this week too. So you get a little contribution from the offense, and you see some growth in the offense, and so you just continue to get better. I mean, the point is let's get better every single week.
Yeah, my favorite thing is that people aren't happy regardless, right? Like it's one of those, yeah. People aren't going to be happy with being 3-0, and that's fine. So yeah, that's okay with that. And I see in the comment section, everybody's saying Tennessee's going to blow us out. We'll talk about Tennessee later this week. You're not going to really hear much out of me, and regardless of what you say, I'm not really going to engage in that conversation with you all right now because it's not something worth talking about right now. We'll see what the numbers look like once the game gets there. We'll see who's healthy because it sounds like we're getting healthier. So let's go ahead and move into what we didn't like in this game. It's our opportunity to talk about what bothered us. But I do have one more thing, though, that I did like about this one, Coop, before we fully transition. Darian Mensah threw for 166 yards in this game. 1 touchdown, 1 pick, Coop. You know how many yards he threw against Kansas State?
I do, but I will let you tell me because where you're going.
I mean, if you want to share, feel free. It won't hurt my feelings for you to say it if you know it.
So it was, there's a 350-ish, right?
346 yards.
Okay, 346.
He threw for 346 yards against K-State. Now it was a shootout game for them. In their first game of the season, he threw for 205 yards in a blowout victory, 52-0. Mensa comes in this game and he throws for 166 yards. He was 48% completion percentage. Now, the one thing that we knew that was coming in is that Mensa was going to be a good litmus test for us in preparation for Tennessee. Young quarterback, pretty much a risk taker, OC that likes to air it out while also getting quick passes out to where their wide receivers can do things in space. I mean, Mario Williams has had 100 yards every game this season, and he plays against us, 3 catches for 36 yards. Fleming did a really good job of finding spaces and got open. He had 59 yards in the game.
Yeah.
We gave up 166 yards to the quarterback and then 7 yards to Ty Thompson, who threw that touchdown in the end zone, which was a little weird. I think it was more so the team was like, wait, they got 2 quarterbacks on the field. What the heck are they doing? Like, this is not a traditional setup. But, Coop, we gave up total 173 yards passing in this game. It's another game that's under 200 yards. I did not expect us. Look, I put it this way. Everybody in the comment section of the video from last Sunday, everyone was saying that Tulane was going to throw it all over us. That Tulane was going to throw for 300-some yards. That Tulane was going to go all over the field on us. That our defense wasn't that good. That's all I kept hearing. That's all I kept seeing in the comment section, Coop. I'm trying to figure out when are people going to stop pushing that narrative saying that they're going to just throw all over us. I mean, Tulane did it all over other teams, right? But I say K-State, they're like, well, K-State's not very good. You talk about Tennessee, everybody's saying NC State's not very good. I'm just saying what's going out there in the streets.
I mean, K-State just went out and rolled Arizona. Rolled Arizona.
God, that was an embarrassing pick by me too, man. I really thought that Fafita was going to give me better.
Me
better
too.
play than that. But they rolled the heck out of Arizona.
Listen, McMillan was over on the sideline third quarter. So
yeah.
No, I see what you're saying here, Jay, is because it's, you give up under 200 yards passing. You give up 12 points. 12 points.
On the offensive side of the ball. Right.
On the offensive
running
side
game.
of the ball.
34 carries.
Yeah.
For 106 yards total is what they had.
And
34 for 140. And that includes, 2 end arounds? The Dante Fleming one?
Yeah,
pretty
the 19-yard wide receiver run. But, you hold their running backs to 2.6 yards per carry. So I'm going to just say this, is the defense did what they were supposed to do. They went out there. And the built-in get-ready excuse is, well, when the offense can't hold up its own bargain, eventually the defense is going to crumble. And
right.
You didn't see that. You saw the team continue to really, really flex. And they're carrying the team at the point. So, just going off what you're saying is, everybody was saying that they were going to toss it. What did they go? 50 points in week 1. They did 27 points.
Yeah, 27. Is it 27 in that game? Let me pull it up real quick.
27 against K-State.
Yep.
2 touchdowns.
K-State's no joke.
No, and they ran for 128 yards. Mario Williams had 6 catches for $128. So the defense did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Right.
And they could have played better.
Mekhi Hughes, 19 carries, 71 yards. He had 128 against Kansas State in a touchdown. My point is that everybody has lost their mind before this game telling me that we were just going to get trounced by Tulane. They were going to upset us at home. They're going to throw it all over us because our secondary is not very good. They got 166 yards. And the thing is, Tulane's offensive coordinator is really good. He creates space and creates openings. And the good thing is that we did a really good job of containing the vast majority of it. That's what's important. You can't stop a team that's actually got a pulse from getting any yards. It's impossible. But you can cause a lot of problems. And we did that. All right, Coop. What we didn't like in this game? Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit that like button, wipe your feet. New to the channel, subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5. What I didn't like in this game, right? The one thing cracked me up, Coop, is going back to the offensive line. You've got to play young players so they can get the experience, right? Played a lot of redshirt freshmen in this game to try to get some experience. And shout out to Heath Uzeda. He did a really good job. First, he struggled and gave up that free blitzer right to Jackson Arnold. But then as the game went on, he made up for it. You start to see, I now recognize that, not to immediately turn to the center, see if anybody's coming, and then double team. So he did a really good job of adjusting in that, which is what I appreciate. I didn't like that he did a really good job on that portion of it. But overall, line was decent. Howland had his moments, but there was a reason why he got pulled, and we went to that offensive line set, which I've been calling for since the season started. I've been saying I want Sexton, Uzeda, Bates, Waywu, and I want Taylor, but Taylor's hurt. It appears that he was working out before the game, but he didn't play. But I want Taylor out there. Right now we got Tarkin, and Tarkin looked really good. The entire right side looked good, Coop, period. But that left side, we've got to get healthy, and we've got to get a little bit more physical. But I think we're getting some mean streaks. But that was one thing I didn't like, was that I like that Uzeda fixed it, but I did not like that the attention to detail there. We were letting some blitzers come through. Taylor Tatum let a blitz come through that Gabe even pointed out that pick six was because Jackson Arnold thought his backside was protected.
Yeah.
And you go watch the play, Tatum completely missed the guy, and Jackson had to move up, and he tried to get rid of the ball, in which that's the other thing I didn't like. Number two, I don't like that he tried to make a play at that moment. It's okay to throw the ball at his feet, live to play another down. He looked like he was trying to do more than he should have in that play. And that's a fault of being a true sophomore. I can't be mad at him for doing it, but I would prefer you throw that ball into the ground at your wide receiver's feet. That way, it's incomplete. Give me something that you didn't like, and we'll keep going back and forth.
We talked about this before we went live, but at some point, the running backs and the receivers, you have to understand spacing. You absolutely have to understand spacing. You cannot absolutely. I mean, you just can't. You can't run right at guys, whether it's on a shallow cross, whether it is you running up into the defensive back on a hitch and getting tangled up with them, whether it is there was one run by Sawchuk and he got ankle tackled, and I mean he just literally had a linebacker flat-footed in the middle of the field with no help around him, and he ran right damn at the guy. And so when these situations happen, those are lost yardage. We made fun of Stutzman for a couple of years about lining up 2 inches to the left, and how it wasn't a big piece, a big deal or anything like that. But these wide receivers, these running backs, every single one of them have to understand that you have to take right angles. You cannot run right at guys. You've got to try to make them make a play, because Gavin Sawchuk ain't running over people. Yeah, he's not running over people. Javonte Barnes has always had the issues with the vision, but at least he has the capability to run a fool over. But if you just absolutely go right at somebody, it's just more stupidity that you can't do that. So that's one thing that I want to see better from the skill positions, because right now it is Jackson Arnold and Deion Burks versus the world. And you can't get away with that this week. You can't get away with it this week. And I promise you, if OU somehow were to go out and beat Tennessee, and the second leading receiver has 2 catches for 11 yards, or the running back averages 2.5 yards per carry, that can't happen. Nope. It's not feasible unless the defense just absolutely gets bailed out with several pick sixes and turnovers and stuff like that. you have to, I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to have guys who know how to create space for themselves and know how to get away from somebody.
That to me is probably the one thing I think a lot of fans aren't recognizing at all. We can blame Seth Luttrell as much as everybody wants to about play calling. Unless we just tell all the wide receivers to never go near each other and not do any type of cross routes or anything like that, the wide receivers still need to help us out in this. And the thing is about the wide receivers, I said this last week, I said this when the season started based upon who was playing, that room is young. Now, it became young very fast when we lost 4 people, right? Now, it looks like Nick and Andrell were working out before the game. But like you, Coop, that's one thing I didn't like is that the wide receivers weren't doing what they needed to do to get their own space and get themselves open. That is a youth thing. When you're playing a lot of freshmen and redshirt freshmen, it's going to happen. And guys that have been hurt, that's one thing that's definitely going to happen. And that's okay. That's fine. What needs to happen, we just got to get healthy. And then you're going to get dudes out there that can actually create plays and get open. But in this game, we didn't do a very good job of making space. Deion Burks did as much as he possibly could with what limited, space he had. Bauer Sharp has gotten better, but I need him to be better too. I need him to do a really good job of creating additional space for him and Burks, right? I need him to attract defenders to him and attract them away from Burks, because the thing is as people bracket Burks, guys are going to have one-on-one. So you can start positioning yourself. Bauer Sharp's a big dude. Use that. Use your size against people, which he had 4 catches. He could have had 7 easily, right? Especially because that middle was just open. Like when I went and looked at the passing chart, let me look at this real quick. Jackson Arnold's passing chart. Let me see. Passing depth. In this one, he was 7 for 12 across the middle. 2 for 4, and these are all plus 10-yard passes this season. 24 for 28 in passes between 0 and 10 yards. But let me get you for this last game. I want to see it versus Tulane for Jackson. Oh, not them. I want to see your report for that game. Oh, it didn't pull it up for me for some reason. Let's go depth. There it is, pressure and depth. All right. He was 9 for 10 between 0 and 10 yards, 1 for 2, 10-plus yards across the middle. 2 for 2 on the right, 0 for 1 on the left. Decent on the shorts, but 9 for 10 for 101 yards right there in the middle. At some point, teams are going to be preparing for that.
Yeah.
They're going to start coming up on that, right? This is basically how that pick 6 happened. Right there. We just need guys to get healthy. But the good thing is, as they key in on that middle, and the vets come back, we can start throwing it deep.
Yeah. It's you got somebody's going to have to stand. Somebody's going to have to. I mean, got to take it seriously. And I think that what happens too a lot is, there was one pass I think to Kearney that he kind of dropped a little bit, and every single one of these guys who's getting their time, you cannot fumble your opportunity. You can't drop your opportunity. And so, people are drilling, sometimes they drill Jackson Arnold for a bad decision. Sometimes people are calling for Seth Luttrell. Listen, this offensive coordinator, he's not, you shouldn't be calling for him, because if he calls a route and the wide receiver runs the wrong route, that ain't on him. Because they coach it all, and it sure as hell ain't on Emmett Jones. It's on the player. And so that's the one thing that I'm going to have to demand more is you as a player have to go, I have to do my job, and as if the ball is coming to me every single time. Every single time. So, I mean, that's what's going to have to happen is you're going to have guys who are going out and expect to get the ball every single time. And, a lot of fans think that, we got ideas that Trump and are more intelligent than the coaches. There's a reason why situations happen, because if in practice you are not doing something often, it's much, much worse in a game. Much worse in a game. So everybody's going, pitch everybody else. Taylor Tatum needs to be in the game going forward. Well, pick six is on Taylor Tatum. Partially on Taylor Tatum, partially on Ozida. So, we want some of these guys in here. And so that's going to be it's just, you got to have guys do their job and do each individual job. And that's just the same. That's what I said last week. Do your damn job, because if you don't do your job, you're going to get somebody hurt, or you're going to not find yourself on the field.
Yeah. That's true. That's very true. Some other things that I would like to see better. I need Willie Washington to be better when he plays in the cheetah row. Seemed like he's a little lost. But at the same time, that's not his position, right? He's learning that nickel in order to get him some good tape for the pros. I need him to be better at that role. I need to be better at nickel. I need him to be better at trailing people. He has solid instincts, but in zone, he was all over the place. Dez is definitely our best zone guy. He looks really good in the zone. I need Woody to be better in the zone. I need him to occupy a larger amount of space. And sometimes I need the secondary to go a little bit deeper. Right? I know that the big thing is to stop those passes across the middle. To me, let the linebackers run with that. Drop back just a little bit deeper, just so you can be prepared for them to try to dump a pass into a little pocket. In which that's what they did on their deep ones, right? Their biggest one was 22 yards, and he was always caught and then fell type deal, which is a good thing. They weren't hitting people in stride. They weren't hitting people for touchdowns going deep. We got to get better there. Just overall, right? We had a few times we could have had some interceptions if players stepped up a little bit more or slid back a little bit deeper. The interception opportunities were there. We weren't putting in like we should to.
And along with that, I'm 3 better throws, and he has a lot more passing yards.
Yep.
And so again, that's the same thing as I have seen and watched this team in the past, pull a game out by 1 score and see how many times, a guy drops a wide open ball or it's 10 yards past a wide open guy streaking down the field. So, there's still a lot, and this defense did this well, and still can get better, and still can do better, and they're still playing straight up. You saw a couple of other tinkers on the defensive alignments, so that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun because this week is where BV goes, all right, let's have some fun. And, there's a lot of stuff that they've been working on, and they've been pocketing, on defense, this entire offseason and so far right now. So I'm excited to see what that's going to look like, because for OU to win, this week, the defense is going to have to do some amazing things.
Yep. We can do that. We got some things to clean up. I want more pressure on our defensive line earlier. They had Mensah making very fast decisions. You saw him stepping up, running. You saw him scrambling around. He doesn't run. He scrambles around. And they made him move out of that pocket quick, which I appreciate. Yeah. I need them to shed the blocks a little bit faster and get and force and hit the quarterback a little bit more. I think we'll have a better opportunity next week with that. I don't see max protect coming from them. I don't see that level of respect for our defensive line coming from them.
Yeah.
So we'll have opportunities for one-on-ones for Dominic. We'll have opportunities for one-on-one with JJ, Dejan, Terry, who looked pretty good in that game.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get his one-on-ones. I'm here for that. I'm here for now, and then you go into, of course, the linebackers. Everybody played. Kobe, Stutz, and Kip, didn't they?
Yeah, and Kanik was in early too.
So Kanik came in early. We didn't see any Lewis Carter, did we?
I feel
I don't
like
remember seeing him any linebacker snaps. PFF will probably tell me the exact number. But I don't recall seeing him in any linebacker snaps, like at all. We did play 24 players on defense, which is pretty good. 23 players total. Pretty good. Yeah, Kanik had 7. No Lewis Carter on defensive snaps. I think he got special teams, but no defense. We got some extended play from PJ, and it looked like he was starting to get his game going. Him and Caden Woolard. One player I need to get better very fast is Jacoby Johnson.
Yes.
He has all the talent in the world. Athletic. Heck, there was conversations. I mean, I think a few people were talking about moving him over to wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
Just because he's that athletic. I need him to get better at corner. He looked like he'd get a little confused in sets. Turned around. If he keeps developing, he's going to be nasty at corner, especially with his height, 6'2", and his ability to jump and athleticism. He gets better at shadowing guys. Ooh, he's going to be nasty. But PJ played in 17 snaps in this game, 14 pressures, only 2 runs, really. He had a hit on the pressure side, and I'm so happy he got a lot more run.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Eli Bowen was out there. What did he get? He had more snaps than PJ did.
19.
So, yeah. So I mean, like he got out there a good amount, and so but yeah, Jacoby's he's the one on defense to where when something happened, it was him kind of out of spot, and so I mean, obviously he's out there because Gentry was not. And you got to rotate some guys in and out because you get either Dez or Kanai hurt, and oops, we might have ourselves in another situation. But again, this is a time to where learn and then get in the film room and see it and get better, because if you cannot get better, because again, you can't have mental lapses on defense with the makeup of this team at this point. So we're going to need to see more on that one.
Yeah, I agree. All right, what's next? We're going to ride into that. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5. Steven, no worries on that. Being late, man, life happens to all of us. We appreciate you joining. Topher, thank you. Doing the modding thing. I see your questions in here. I've been starring them. That's why you see me look down. I'm starring some of these so I can pull some of them up. We got to look at what's next for the team, but we had a question from our second Coop that I liked. And describing Deion Burks, Coop. Can you describe Deion Burks in one word?
Always.
I love that.
Because he always wants the ball. He's always out there. He's always working. And so, I mean, that's just why I think it's always. He's always going to be keyed in on. Everybody's always going to know where he's on the field. And so I'm going to just go with always.
Me, elite. Dude has done what he needed to do to figure it out. They did a really good job. That's a very just he's elite. He knows how to get open. He knows how to find the hole. I'm definitely 100% satisfied with that. If y'all got additional questions, pop them in there. We'll talk about them as we continue on. So what's next, Coop? For me, I need Got a lot of needs. Shout out to Danny Stutzman, though. 300 career tackles. 300. He hit the 300 mark after this game. And, 300 total tackles is pretty darn good. Can't beat that.
And another 12. I think there's one guy for Mississippi State has more tackles than him this year. And so, I mean, they're always on defense. It's.
Oh, man.
Who they got ran? Who did they get ran by this week?
Toledo.
Oh, yeah.
Toledo Burrito, man. Toledo went down to Stark Vegas. Caused problems. But Isaac Smith has more total tackles. He has 43 total tackles this season, with Stutzman sitting at 32nd in the country. Stutzman has 21 solos, which he leads the country in with 12 assists, averaging 11 tackles per game. Stutzman is that dude.
Yeah, he's and again, I still love the fact that like he wants to be in there all the time, and he's getting pulled at times, and he is pissed off about it. I was talking to his pops during the game, and so I mean, listen, Danny wants to be out there. He wants to get it tuned up, and so I'm pretty excited about just his entire journey. And I think I'm probably going to try to connect with his dad this week and do an interview and just talk ball, talk about just, where Danny was and where he is now. Listen, man, I'm not a fanboy guy. Like I've never asked for an autograph in my entire life. And I think Danny Stutzman's going to be the first autograph I ask for. I think I'm going to get a jersey. So suck it, PG. And I'm going to get a Stutzman jersey and have him sign it for me. And, that's a pretty, I respect the hell out of what he's done and how he has been kind of the cornerstone of going from defense optional to what we have now.
Yep. He's that dude. He's one definitely worth fanboying over. He is definitely worth it. No less, don't worry. He will come. Coop has his phone number. He told him to call him anytime. And they're going to set up something. It's going to happen. Like Coop is being modest right now, saying, no, I'm going to try to figure out. No, it's just we got to find the time. His dad already said, you tell me when I'm ready. So Coop's just got to make time for it. It's going down. So we ain't got to worry about that. But shout out to him for that, man. That is a big accomplishment. Look, the defensive line has played really good. What I want to see next out of them, I need them to get me more sacks, which I think they can in this game. You're going to have to feel in the next game. You have to feel the middle a lot more. Don't let the quarterback step up. Don't let Nico step up and spin around. But those edges, man. R. Mason Thomas getting his 3 sacks to close the game out. Man.
it was amazing.
Like, where did that come from? And why haven't we seen it this so far?
He got time. I mean, they went into that was the most time that a quarterback spent in the pocket, this season so far. And so, they instead of bowing the entire interior, they just pressed up, and all of a sudden the pocket became like a divot instead of a pocket. And, he just decided to, Lemon, you're right. I mean, he said, I'm calling game over on this mess. And so that was pretty fun. I mean, I really, really enjoyed seeing him get some success, because that's a guy who has struggled through a lot of injury. And, right now, like I said, a couple times already, is this defensive ends, these edge guys have not been asked to really rush the passer. It's been set the edge and just make sure that nothing pops out. These guys are hungry. And like I said, I was talking to Willard's dad during the game, and he's just like, oh my God, he's like, he's hungry and he's ready for it. And he's just waiting. And, talk to PJ, during week 1. So these guys want to get to the quarterback and want to be able to have a chance to have somebody. And so, most of the rollouts and everything that it takes away one side of the edge, and then you basically have people stepping up in an extended line. So we'll see what happens because, I mean, Josh Heupel's not an idiot, Jay. Josh Heupel is not an idiot. And if you think that Josh Heupel is going to go, let's do several 5-step drops and some 7-step drops, he's not going to do that stuff. It is going to be you're gonna see Josh Heupel with a good game plan, and but he knows who Brent Venables is, and he knows some of Brent Venables what he has in the bag. So it's going to be a nice little coaching battle. And these guys. I mean, what did the Tulane says the best defense he's ever played against? Was that the comment that he had?
That John Summerall said, the head coach?
Yeah. So I mean, guys, they're starting to say these things, and so you got to. BV and Zach Alley, this is what they've been looking for. This is what they've been building for, and so I mean, I'm pretty excited about it because I mean, this is why you get into these conference, and this is a conference game. It's not just an non-conference game, and that it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And the OU's offense has to continue to take a step because that defensive line for Tennessee, I mean that could be a nightmare for this team as of right now.
Yeah. Right now, I'm trying to see if there is. I'm trying to find all the defensive actual rating, all the advanced metrics. Hard numbers don't give you much because it's all based upon your schedule, right? Who you play against, type of quarterbacks you're dealing with. Actually, you know what? Let me look at what Field Steel has us listed. But the beauty is the defense is looking exactly like I thought they would.
Yeah.
We're leaning heavy on them. We're going to have to. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? For Sooner fans, as I mentioned before, it is the weirdest thing in the world that we have as in a tradition as old as the game itself, that OU fans aren't used to having a defense lead the way. They're expecting the offense to save everything. And I like the fact that our defense is doing it now. Create a new tradition.
And you're used to at this point, you're used to from just defense, just do one thing, maybe two things at some point. Just one thing or two things. And so now, I mean, yeah, it is a paradigm shift, but I said this is what this game's going to look like. This is what this team's going to look like. It's not going to be, you're not going to see these massive splits. It's going to have to continue to be about that.
That's the critical part. We've got to just keep getting better, and I think that's what we're doing. On top of that, linebacker room, only one that we didn't see was Lewis Carter. I didn't see any snaps for him calculated. I may have to go back in the game and watch it again. I don't remember seeing his number out there, but like you said, Kanik did get 7 snaps. He was good on his tackling. He was making his tackles. Robert Spears-Jennings, man. He's doing some solid stuff. Kind of surprised, I'm going to be honest.
Was he, PFF had him graded as one of the highest graded defensive players in college football, and it was the number 1 safety?
Yep. That's what he was. I got to see what he looks like now. I'm actually in PFF. They've rated all the games now. Let me go pull it up and see what the position rankings are for defense. Let's go defense. Defense reports for safeties. Because he started the season off, like you said, hot. He's been hot.
Very. Yeah. No, I mean, it's... We'll see what happens. I think that's another thing is this week is passing off responsibility on wide receivers is going to have to be spot on, because that's the only thing is I still want to see guys doing the appropriate thing on their drops, linebackers and and the safeties and everybody. It's much better than it was last year in the zone coverage.
Yep.
But when you pass somebody off, I think that Heupel is going to have the ball out of Nico's hands early with a lot of schemed plays. And there's going to be little spots and little pockets that if he sees it on tape that it's there often, he'll have that ball out and he will instruct Nico to have the ball out and ready to go right there. So if you do not pass off responsibility the correct way, and then if you get confused, you're going to pay for it. But I mean, as of right now, I haven't seen anything from either corner or any of the safeties or the cheetah that I just I'm really worried about.
Yeah. Having Dolby be the one that's your best one. I think we get McCullough back this weekend too. There's a good chance. I know he's been walking around. We've seen him doing all kinds of stuff and exercises. If his toe's good, we should be able to see him coming back. That's definitely something we need.
And now he's going to have to come back as a specialist. I mean, he's going to have to come in as an edge rusher, and the guy hasn't practiced since July. So, I mean, it's going to be a few. I mean, so I don't know if I expect a ton out of him. Just getting him out there, seeing some time, seeing some movement, get hit, get into some piles, and get some honest some banging around with that toe and everything. Get him moving around. That's going to be good because this is I mean, listen, if you're going to be hurt throughout the non-conference and I guess I'd rather have it that than the conference play. But as these guys start coming in, it's another weapon here, another weapon there, and that's kind of what I get excited about.
Yeah, no, I agree. Having more bodies is going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's probably the most important thing. I can't wait to get get young Boganowski out there. I'm ready to get Reggie Powers some run as well, but you also want them to know the sets before you start throwing them out there. You don't want them to, get put out there and you get nervous about how they're going to be able to perform. But
yeah,
overall, we're seeing growth. Like there was, and we talked about this. There were 4 offensive possessions that we punted on that bothered me. It was the 4, 3, or 5 play possessions that weren't very long. That's what we got to do better. Get me to 6 plays. Get me 2 first downs before you punt. Right? Yeah. That makes me feel good. That would make me happy.
Listen, not all 3 and outs are created equal. Not all punts are created equal.
They're not.
You don't want any 3 and outs. Some of the times, the punts. I mean, there was one. What was it? It was either in the second or third quarter. I think we went 10 plays. 3 minutes and change, and punted the ball. I mean, it is at that. It is what it is at that point. But yeah, it's if you can give the breathers, that's good. Now, something else I want to see is I don't know what the hell happened with that field goal situation.
You can't let that happen, dog.
That's you got to understand. That's on the snapper, that's on the holder, that's on the kicker, and that's on the coaching staff. For the love of God, watch the effing clock. Like
somebody had to look up.
Somebody at some point has to do it. Somebody has to come screaming. I don't even care if somebody runs on the field and gets just somebody show me that somebody was looking at the damn clock, because that kind of wears me out. And I will say this is I'm ready to see SEC refs. I am ready to see SEC refs.
You know that we haven't had SEC refs at our games yet?
No, we had Big 12, AAC, and
I think AAC as well in the first game.
AAC. So AAC times 2 and then Big 12 refs.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see that. But at the same time, I mean,
that's crazy to me.
I'm not blaming the clock mismanagement on the refs, because I mean that's on this team. So who's going to step up and who's going to do that? This is a player-led team. Those are the situations that you have to not let happen, because if you let those things happen, I mean that's 3 points. 3 points.
Yeah.
Off the board.
But it's crazy that, that we have not had SEC refs yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and truth, you're right, is the visitors usually bring the refs. So
it's crazy. It's crazy.
But I think some of the there's been some really, really soft officiating, and it's not like the defense has played our receivers tough or anything like that. But there's competitive football being played, and Woody Washington's been kind of screwed 3 times in 2 games, with that situation. And so, ready to see some SEC refs. I want to see, some actual good football. I mean, again, I'd rather be having conversations about football rather than the latest ridiculous on 3 chart that was dropped by some guy I've never heard of. So let's get excited about that because, I mean, at least we still have football going on.
Yeah.
And at least you're not Florida State because did I see that Napier is getting the axe?
Did he get fired yet?
There was a tweet going around this morning, and I'm not going to lie, I have not paid attention to anything football related today. I rewatched the game, worked on stuff with my kids, soccer game and stuff. But I mean, I saw something that there was a meeting this morning by the Board of Regents for Florida. So a bunch of fake stuff. Okay, so I just
it's a bunch of fake stuff. I haven't seen anything legitimate. I haven't seen anything legitimate. I just seen a lot of just people saying stuff. I haven't seen anything whatsoever.
So let's talk. Chris Hinch, he says OU and Tennessee also have to release injury reports now per the SEC rules.
Now that's going to be interesting, Coop.
Yeah.
Like, you got a legitimate injury report that's going to come with details, and it's going to come before the game. I think, what's the time that it has to show up?
Is like noon. I thought it was noon.
Let me look. I'm looking at their availability report.
Facebook official. I love it. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
and it's only in the SEC games now, so that's the good thing. It's player availability reports, and it's on their site, so they have a website for it too. This is on me for not remembering this. I looked it up and was like, yes, but no one is saying anything on that.
UCF and Miami are going to be your 2 Florida teams that you're going to have to fight out for who's king down in Florida, because I sure as hell, I mean, what is that Florida game going to be? That's going to be a,
so the updates have to be submitted. So starting this season, SEC teams will be required to publicize availability reports on the Wednesday before games against conference foes. And that list will have available, probable, questionable, doubtful, or out on the report. And they have to be available on Wednesday. They need to they can submit updates on Thursday and Friday before the final report filed 90 minutes prior to kickoff. Wow.
So what was it?
Good call there.
Was it Bill Belichick? Bill Belichick had Tom Brady listed on the injury report for like 6 straight years. So I'm just wondering is it a deal to where you're like probable, doubtful? Like, does that mean anything? Because I mean, if you list this report and I mean, you could say Danny Stutzman, elbow, questionable, right? I mean, are we actually going to see anything?
I wonder how legitimate these are going to be, as far as not saying that they're going to lie about it, but they're going to put everything on there. So then at that point, it's going to be like, okay, so what am I supposed to believe in here as far as a player not being out? I'll put it this way. You know who's going to play and who's not going to play. And I think that's really the only thing that matters. As far as like actual injuries, I don't know if it's going to truly matter. I think they're going to have people in there that's banged up and just going to put in there every single time. But I'm more curious to see who's actually going to be out and who's actually going to be in. We'll see that before.
Yeah.
We'll see that. We'll know that now. That's what's important. That's the most critical thing. Had a solid question from Coop once again.
Hey, I'm just saying, you fools. I saw there's like 3 different variations of Coop. Like I'm in the damn Spider-Verse going on right now. Like,
congratulations, man. We in the multiverse, baby. We in the Soonerverse of madness. Jay Coop, what are your opinions on Texas being number 1? I think they deserved it. They beat up on Michigan in Michigan at the Big House. Georgia looked suspect against a Kentucky team that we didn't think could throw the football. Now, granted, did Kentucky throw the ball in that game?
I mean, listen, Georgia did this to Missouri 2 years ago, and it seems like every single time everybody's like, ha, 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 we got you, Georgia. They're like, oh, okay, you do? All right. Now, that was
it
is what
let's
it
put it
is.
this way. With Georgia, as you said, Kentucky plays them hard every year. Last year, I think, was it last year or was like 2 years ago that this game was a pain in Georgia's side when they played it. Last year, they beat the crap out of them 51-13. It was another year. It was like a tough one when they went to Lexington, I believe. That it was a tough. Yeah. They went to Lexington 2 years ago in 2022, and they won 16-6. Stetson Bennett threw for 116 yards in the game. McIntosh rushed for 143. But yeah, it was a tough game for them in Lexington. That's a tough place to play. So yeah, Georgia got the business against Kentucky at their crib, right?
Sense. After those types of games, you don't want to be the team playing Georgia,
right?
But I mean, like, I will say this. I think that what's that movie from the 80s where the machines all start coming alive? I think my printer's like coming alive. I heard it. And
nice.
So,
hope they eat you while you're on camera.
That's good. It's good. I appreciate everyone in here.
Yeah, it's good content.
It's been great. This is how I wanted to go out. That's what I always prayed about. But no, listen, I just say this is college football week to week. A lot of you guys in here, a lot of you guys, people who have been great supporters of the channel, like, that we talk things, we talk more details, we get into it a lot more than most people do. Like, I think that this season has shown me a lot of stuff. It's like week to week, what this team did against that team 2 weeks ago hasn't really meant a lot going forward. And so, I mean, I will say this is, now we get actual games happening. We get to see these things. I think that they're Georgia's got Bama coming up, and if Georgia's not ready, Bama is going to have a lot to say about that, because Bama has, those guys, those players, more than the coaching staff, but those players have sat there and watched Georgia get donned the best of the best since they arrived on campus. And so, yeah, I think that's going to be a great game. How many players saw? How many total players saw the field this week? Jay, was it 48? Is that what you said earlier?
In this game?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Lance asked. He asked twice.
How many players saw the field for OU yesterday? Great question. Let me go pull it up real quick. I was actually looking at it. Let me go pull that game again.
We all want to see Georgia lose. I mean, we're tired of it.
Offense, we had 21 guys play.
44 Topher.
And on defense, we had 23. So 44 total. We have 44 total players played in this game. Pretty darn good. I don't mind 2 sets of lineups getting to play. But man, hey, Sooner Cowboys, I think it's totally unfair that Georgia's getting a bye week before this Alabama game. I mean, is it really unfair? No.
No, it's not unfair, Jay.
They both got the week off. So that's the good thing. If they both
because there's going to be 7 different Georgia people get arrested in that week, and they may not be able to have a full team out there. So,
yeah, I'm pretty excited about the fact that they get a bye week and then they play on 28. This is what's even funnier though, as we look at this schedule. Look at this. Georgia and Bama both get a bye, right? Georgia plays Bama, and then Auburn comes to town right behind it. That's going to be fun. Bama gets Georgia at the crib, and then they travel to Vanderbilt.
You got...
That doesn't sound fair.
A couple pillow fights there.
Doesn't sound fair.
Yeah. It's going to be here, I will say this. There's going to be, you've seen all the memes where people have the logo of their team, and then you've got like the little squiggle mark, and it's like, we're the greatest, and there's like, oh my God, I hate this team, I'm going to die. Yeah, I hate this team, I'm going to die. I mean, a lot of fan bases feel that way. There's a lot of stories going on in college football, and that's why we love this. I mean, absolutely love this. So
absurdly stupid sport. Yes. I love everything about this absurdly stupid sport, specifically because it's nothing but pain.
Nothing but pain. But
nothing but pain week after week. I just love it. It just warms my heart.
Let's see here. What this week we don't have. I mean, this is the OU Texas thing. OU Tennessee game. I mean, you got Oklahoma State, Utah, but what's Utah going to look like now? Illinois, Nebraska. That's going to be a fun Friday night game. So that'll be a good Friday night game because I don't really know if I think Illinois is much of anything, but they're a sound football team, and so I'm pretty excited to maybe see that. Raiola has been asked to do nearly nothing. At this point, yeah. He's got 670 yards passing through 3 games. He hasn't been asked to do much of anything. 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. NC State, Clemson. What's going to come out of that game? Oh, the USC, Michigan. I think, is that one of those games, Jay, to where we still don't know anything after it?
Yeah, it is.
Because LSU has looked suspect. USC.
I said I was going to reserve judgment on LSU until November. Like everybody was like, "Oh, going to Death Valley, it's going to be hard." Blah blah blah. I'll wait till November to give judgment on them. And this season, they've shown me that it's probably my best bet to wait till November to pay attention to LSU. Because we don't know. They're all over the place.
It is.
LSU's all over the place. Everything about them has been all over the place.
So is Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame, where they go out and get ran by Southern Illinois, and then they come out this past week and they decide to treat Purdue like Purdue offended to them. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
It is. It really is. Okay.
How do you score 14 points against Northern Illinois and then 66 against Purdue?
Like they were mad in that game. They were mad. You could tell they were mad in that game. Period. They were just mad. So they had to do that, right? They had to show some sort of redemption after losing to Northern Illinois at home. They paid them. They put the money in the bag, as RJ Young would say.
$1.4 million is what
$1.4 million to pull up and give me my money. Yeah. Favorite meme. Give me my money.
So I mean,
craziness.
Listen, football is back, and so I mean, as I'm just browsing through here, I guess I got.
Here's one: Missouri, Boston College. Man, you surprised that Missouri was able to pull that one out?
No, I mean that game kind of. Listen, Boston College. Every single team that has whooped up on Florida State, it looks worse each week.
They really do.
I mean, did we learn anything there? Like, I mean, Luther Burden lost his damn mind in that game. I mean,
Oh my
but
gosh.
but I mean,
He said
I
he didn't
tell
care
you this.
anymore.
I mean, they had that. Did you see that? Did everybody in the chat see that at one point they had a 2nd and 59?
Bro, I did. I was dying. It was like,
2nd and
wait, what?
59. That's like playing the video game and you drop back to bomb it twice, and you've like, dude. What? Let's see here. He caught a pass, or no, they threw a pass to him. Guy slapped his mouthpiece out of his hand. Burden reach ups, grabs the defensive tackle's mouthpiece off of his helmet, and then tosses it like the dude with the shoe. So now you've got 1st and 25. Then they throw an out route out to him, and I can't remember exactly what happens, but
I'm reading now.
He gets an unsportsmanlike penalty, and then he gets another unsportsmanlike penalty, and then they line up for 2nd and 50. They ran a damn draw and got 29 the next play, and they still had like third and 20 something. But yeah, it had a 2nd and 59. Missouri did.
It was so bad. It's like, wait, what are we doing? It was 2nd and 58. Nate Noel runs for 24 yards and gets it to 4th and 28.
It was bad. Also,
that's how they ended the third quarter though. Like it was the gap of the third quarter piece. It was like, how do you go back? How do you give up that? Because it was 1st and 10, and it was 2nd and 25, and that's when you had the ineligible receiver downfield. That's what sent you down there. Then it was 2nd and 30 when you had Luther Burton's personal foul, Mekhi Miller's personal foul, and then Nate Noel runs it 24 yards to get it up there, and then they get to 4th and 28. Yeah. Bananas. It was bad. Like that was Looney Tunes stuff right there, man.
Crazy. But then Tulsa Golden Hurricane, I don't know if you saw their tweet, but they basically said, all like Gordon ain't shit. Like after getting beat by 35. They did hold them. I mean, 17 carries for 41 yards, 2.4 yards per carry against Tulsa. I think that the Heisman for Gordon talk is probably toast. Bowman did have 5 touchdowns. I mean, one of them looked like a good pass. 2 or 3 of them really, I mean, were like things you should complete. Guys just wide open.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's right. Sooner Cowboys. General Booty does go play Texas this Saturday.
We get Arch Manning versus General Booty on Saturday.
Arch that booty.
Absolutely. Coop, we'll give you this on the next show. We won't be talking about that here. Tanya, thank you so much for $4.99. Always showing some love. We appreciate it. But no, we'll wrap this up with a bow on it. We won't go live on Wednesday night as I'm traveling. But we're going to go live on Thursday night at whatever time Coop is available. We'll do our preview for the weekend. We'll talk about Tennessee. We'll talk about any of the injury reports since now it has to be shown on Wednesday. That'll be awesome. That'll give us a whole bunch of content to talk about. Yeah. So, yeah, keep your eyes open on that. We'll dive deeper into everything, like I said, on Thursday. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate the chat. Y'all were very active. Like, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars and all that jazz. And with that, we'll chop it up with you all on Thursday evening. Peace.